Welcome back. This is our last example for circles. We're talking about getting another equation of a circle given two endpoints of a diameter. So this one's a little bit different than the last one because the last one gave you a center in one of these points. So let's look at example 5 so I can show you what's going on. The endpoints of a diameter of a circle are -2, 6, and 6, 0. We want to write an equation of the circle. So let's visualize this circle, figure out where we can get the center. There is -2, 6. 6, 0 is going to go 6 to the right, and it will not go up or down. So that circle actually is going to look something like this, hopefully. Where the diameter, remember diameter is distance across the circle. That's actually this point, this length right here. That's going to contain the center. The center is going to be somewhere in there. And if I were to eyeball that, it looks like my center is right around 2, 3 maybe. Here's how we can verify that. We can get the center by getting the midpoint. Now let's remind ourselves what the formula for midpoint is. The midpoint is going to be the average of your x's, so x1, x2 divided by 2, comma, the average of your y's, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So if you simply add your x's together, divide by 2, and your y's together and divide by 2, your midpoint is going to be -2 plus 6 over 2, comma, 6 plus 0 over 2. And we want to add the numerators first and then divide by 2. So that's going to be 4 divided by 2, comma, 6 divided by 2. So that's 2, 3. That's your center. That's your h value. That's your k value. And that kind of lines up with my estimation at 2 and 3. Okay, your center is the average of your x's and your y values. So now that we got that part out of the way, this problem is essentially the last example we did, which is given the center and one of the points on the circle. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick one of those points to get the distance so we can get our radius. Remember, our radius is the distance between the center and the edge of the circle. So our radius could be the square root of, let's say, 6 minus 2. So we're gonna call this 6 and 0, x and y. We're gonna say 6 minus 2. We want to make sure that our center is included. 6 minus 2. I don't need the distance between these two because that's going to be my diameter. I want the distance between one of the points and the center. So I'm going to pick this 6 and 2 squared. And then I'm going to do 0 minus 3 squared. So that radius could have been gotten also using the -2 and the 6. Would give you the same exact thing. So that's the square root of 6 minus 2 is 4, so 4 squared plus 0 minus 3 is -3 squared. And a negative squared is always a positive. Use parentheses if you're using your calculator. And that should give you a radius of the square root of 4 squared, so that's 16 plus -3 squared is 9. 16 plus 9 is 25. So your radius is the square root of 25. And we actually have a number we can square root this time. So our radius is going to be 5. I kind of ran out of room, but we have all the important information. We have our radius, we have our center. Now we can write our equation. And our equation is going to be parentheses x minus 2. Remember, our h part is being subtracted from the x, so h is 2, plus parentheses y minus 3 squared. Don't forget the squares on the outside of the parentheses. And equals the radius squared, equals 5 squared. But we really want to say that's 25. So we say equals 25. So x minus 2 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 25. All right, that is this question. Of course, I'm not going to let it go without checking the graph. So let's take a look over here. X minus 2 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 25. Now remember, this original problem had two main points on it. It had the point -2, 6 and 6, 0. So I'm going to go down to two new lines. I'm going to type those coordinates in using parentheses to encapsulate my coordinates. There's -2, 6, and you see it appear right there. Let me go to a new line, and let's put, let me label it first, 6, 0, and label that. And that's right on the coordinate, right on the circle there. And our center was 2, 3. So if I put in 2, 3 and label it, that point should appear right in the middle of that circle. So we know we got our circle right because we have our circle going through those 2 points, and our center is right halfway between those points. So we're good to go. As in with the distance formula, you should know that you can get the midpoint the same way. So if you do midpoint, 2 parentheses, -2 comma 6, close parentheses, another comma, and 6, 0, and hit label, it gives you the center. So you can do a little shortcut on this part here if you need to by using Desmos to get that midpoint. All right, so this is your last problem to try on your own. The endpoints of a diameter of a circle are 5, 1 and 1, 3. Write an equation of the circle. Pause to see if you can try it on your own and check the answer with me. Okay, the center is going to be the midpoint. So the midpoint is the average of your x's, comma, the average of your y's. So we're going to go ahead and do -5 plus 1 over 2 and 1 plus 3 over 2. So that center is going to be -4 divided by 2 and 4 divided by 2. Which is -2 and 2. If you'd like to verify using the midpoint shortcut on Desmos, we can do that. And just hit label. And there you have it. So I want to know what is going to be the radius. Now, again, for the radius, you want to use the center and pick a point. So I'll pick 1, 3. Call that x and y. Call this h and k. Make sure you do square root 1 minus -2 squared plus 3 minus 2 squared. 1 minus negative 2 is positive 3. It's 1 plus 2. So it's going to be 3 squared. 3 minus 2 is 1. So plus 1 squared. And your radius should be 3 squared is 9. 1 squared is 1. The square root of 10. So let's also use the Desmos shortcut for that. So if I want to know what is the distance, I could do negative 2, 2, and what was the other one? 1, 3. And it gives me a decimal. And if I square that number, the number inside the square root is 10. So my radius is 3.1622, which is the square root of 10. Oops. As you can see. So the square root of 10 is the radius. Now we'll plug it into our formula. We say x minus h is negative 2 squared, plus y minus k is positive 2 squared, equals the radius squared. So the square root of 10 squared. Simplify what you can. Make those double negatives a positive. And the square and the square root will cancel out and just give you 10. So that should be your final equation. X minus 2 squared. Let's graph it. I said minus. It should be x plus 2 squared plus y minus 2 squared is equal to 10. So let's identify a couple key points. We wanted it to originally go through negative 5, 1 and 1, 3. Let's see if it does that. Okay, it appears that that point is on the circle. We also wanted to go through 1, 3. Looks like that point's on the circle. And our center should be negative 1, or excuse me, not negative 1. Should be negative 2, positive 2. So let's do that. And we are good. Looks like everything fits in there nicely. We got our center there, we got these 2 points, we got our circle, we got our equation. All is right with the world. And you should be ready to do all your work. So thank you for watching and sticking in there with me. Have a great day.